Hey guys, I am John Carrick, author of Legacy of a Mad Scientist and The Legend of Ashley Fox. And we have had a few Conan books in a row, but I made a mistake when I ordered the Danger Girls series. I didn't realize that I had to order the preview book too. This was over 28 years ago that this came out, 97. 27 years ago. Also, today's World Fantasy Tarot card is Nessie of the Loch Ness. I like all these water snakes we've been getting. It's kind of cool. Anyhow, look at this cover. Abby, Chase, the Golden Skull, Donovan, Valerie, Sydney, Natalia, the boat, a crocodile. And a helicopter. Helicopter. Talk about no dead space. There's no dead space anywhere in this book. And it's only a few pages, and this is a full book. Again, I'm upset with the colors. I wish the characters had more light on them and they popped more. But I suppose it would take away from Abby. Look at that page. Look at the foreshortening just on Abby's torso. The right side of her torso is closer to you than the left. He didn't make the hand fist too big, and they shaded it out so that the focus would be more on the spread of her chest. And it almost looks like the gator in the background is going to bite her, but she's on a boat. There's a railing behind her. And those gators are down in the water. Prelude to danger. Prelude of danger. Abby's not afraid. Every panel here is great. It's simple. It's really good. Look at this guy's face right here. Look at how square the chin is, and then you can see the jawline. It creates the curvature of the face. And then when you see him down in this panel, he looks like that. Abby Chase's mouth in every panel. You take notes on her eyes and mouth. I am absolutely taking notes on her entire face. The nose, how the eyebrows work. This guy Donovan too, he's got this sort of long, sort of threatening face up front, but from the side, he's a scrawny guy. Abby warns him Abby blew up his boat, and that's how he lost his eye. And she warns him it's not the only organ he's going to take. He reaches out and grabs her, talks to the skull, and she gives him a swift one. And he goes down to the ground. Again, best comic ever. Is this better than issue number 1? No, because there's more of issue number 1. And issue number 1 has a lot of Sydney and Natalia. This is all Abby. Look at this. Look at her jumping over the railing. Look at how effortless the artist, J. Scott Campbell, makes it look. Look at how effortless he makes all these panels look. She's moving. She kicks these guys over the side. That one gets bit by a crocodile. It's always the black guy first. I didn't even realize that. They didn't even show the white guy get eaten. Crocodile gets her pants. And look at her run across the crocodiles. This needs more light. This desperately needs more light. Are you guys seeing this? Look at how good she looks. Donovan lands in his boat. This is nicely lit. This is well done. Why didn't they do that with every panel? There's a way to do that. It's not real, but there's a way. Look at how good Abby looks down here. Look at her fist, the knuckles. I'm taking notes on the knuckles. Big ridges, sloping valleys away from them. Her face, the determination, the set of her features. The helicopter, look at the helicopter up here. You can see he did the fuselage of the helicopter, the pedals, reflection, the metal. Look at how good he did all this. I remember how just being impressed with the Jeep going, where's the other? There's a shot. I got it back. This shot right here. Look at this. So they're in the helicopter. There, pointing down. You see the house. You see the road. He makes it all look so effortless. I am just blown away. Now we get Abby coming around the cliffside as these guys come around the cliffside in a Humvee, and she's taking bullets and goes off the cliff. There's the harpoon gun, a pair of fins, scuba tanks, everything she's going to need in the first panel of the next issue. Here's some sketches where he mentions that he's just drawing his wife, which is really cool. Girls do appreciate it when you use them as inspiration for your art. God, he's so good. Here's some of the other characters. Natalia, Sydney. Sydney is Elizabeth Hurley, I think. Right out of Austin Powers. Johnny Barracuda. Deuce looking more realistic than he usually does. Usually looks a little more cartoony, but Crippler, Maxim, this girl who never got a name. I don't think she did. These two. I'd forgotten that Hervé Villachet was in The Man with the Golden Gun before he was on Fantasy Island. I saw something about that the other day. Look at these. These are the rough pencils. Even his roughs are so good. Look at how clear and crisp you can see everything that's going on there. The cars. Where's the helicopter? I know I saw it. Yeah, right up there. Going off the cliff. This is a different version because she goes off the cliff on the first page, on the first panel of the next page, right? Like this is an old version. This isn't how it happened. See, these panels are up here. That's a whole page right there. And they have this really cool bit where they talk about, see, they got to make this comic book the way I always dreamed about making comic book. They'd talk about it. Andy would go home and write. He would come back. They would talk about it some more. They were literally hanging out at each other's houses, and Jeff would sketch stuff, and they would talk about how to do it. And Andy would write out battle scenes that Jeff was like, dude, that's 22 pages, not 6 or 8 pages. And so that's exactly what I have these novels that are 700 pages, and we want to do a 6-issue comic book. How are you going to get, 6 issues out of 26 hours of audiobooks? It's hard to crush that down, but look at all this. I don't think this art exists anywhere else. I don't believe that exists anywhere else. That's my comic book is over there, but I'll show the comparison in a minute. This is great. This is really great. $19.98. I think this came out in December of '97. This preview right here. And so now remember, so previews, Diamond Comics, right? When you had to be 3 months in advance. So if this came out in December, you better believe that in March, Danger Girl was going to be on the shelf. Because every comic book shop in the country had 3 months to look at this and decide how many they wanted to invest in. Hey guys, I am John Carrick, author of Legacy of a Mad Scientist, Legend of Ashley Fox, 2 amazing science fiction fantasy novels for you on Amazon, Smashwords, or right here on YouTube as audiobooks. Check them out. We've also got a comic book in the description here is a PDF. There's our girl giving her kick. This ninja doesn't wear black. And yeah, so Danger Girl preview book. Wish I'd have had this when I started the Danger Girl thing a week ago, but it doesn't change how good it is. Yep, Danger Girl. I wonder who owns this original art. Probably Jim Lee. So, today's World Fantasy Tarot card was the Nessie Loch Ness Monster. And the conflicted card, deck 3, is Lexi's sister has been murdered. Would you help her track down her sister's murderer for revenge? What would you do? Would you try and talk her out of it? Would you help her? It would depend on who did it and why. Kind of, but not really. It would depend on how big of a threat they are. I just watched half of Blade the Immortal last night. That's probably one of my all-time favorite films by Takashi Miike because I loved the comic book so much. I want to say it was 130 floppies, but it might have been 240, 270. I think it took Hiroyuki Samura 30 years to draw and tell the story of Rin Asano and Manji, the killer of 1,000 men. It was a 100-man killer. I think it was 1,000-man killer. He's 100-man killer in the movie because he only kills 100 guys. But that's a comic book series. That's a really good one. Every issue was good. And that was Rin hiring Manji, an immortal Ronin, to hunt down the killers of her parents. So good. I will leave a link in the description. I think there is a free version on YouTube. Otherwise, you guys should look it up. It's only in Japanese. You have to read it, but it's awesome. And I think I'm also going to try and keep these shorter moving forward, just the comic, and, it's still 20 minutes. I'm sure you all saw the Zelensky stuff. And everyone's saying, yeah, go Trump. Trump's based. Trump's pro-white. You guys saw what Trump did to Netanyahu, right? Pulled out his chair for him. Trump's not based. Trump just is slave to not all the Jews, but a specific set of Jews. I've heard someone was making the distinction between Shabbat Lubavitch, however you say it, and whatever other group of Jews. It is funny too, because all the half Jews that I know always side with their Jew half. It's kind of like a half black kid. You never say he's half white. He's half black. That goes back to, that makes me think of Game of Thrones, how they traced Baratheon's seed and figured out that his kids weren't his, that they were blondes of Jaime Lannister and his sister. I don't know what any of that has to do with anything. None of it has anything to do with Danger Girl or my comic book. Here's something I want to talk to you guys about that I can't talk about. I've been listening to Alex Hormozi a lot. I really like that guy because his message is one of give till it hurts, and that will earn you customers. And there is a story about that, and that's what I'm doing. I'm out here giving all of this away for free. You can get all of my stories right now. The most valuable things to me in the world, I've given away. Not because, you could say that I couldn't find a market for it, and I suppose that's true. But it was more important to get it to people than it is to sell it. And it doesn't matter to me. I think it was Mark Twain who said, I could live for 2 weeks on a compliment. When it comes to my writing, for sure. You know what I mean? But the idea I had last night is going to, I've got hiccups all of a sudden, really work out. I'm really excited about it. It's going to be fun to work on. It's sort of parallel to all my other stuff, and it won't take time away. I haven't been writing. I've been thinking a lot. Oh, I was talking about Alex Hormozi. I do want to talk about Alex Hormozi. I really like this guy. I bought his 2 books, and it's funny. There's a few things that I'm doing right that he says to do, but it hasn't made me any money. He says to do priorities, right? So if I had gone into sales, I know people who've gone into sales and done really well into sales and gotten into business, and in a lot of ways, I think that shuts this off for them. I think they can still evaluate it. He has, in the very beginning of $100 million offers, he has this bit about how to tell stories. A manipulative story, telling a story to sell something, is not the same as selling a story. I've got the Silmarillion sitting right here. I don't have Lord of the Rings, but I love this book more. And Tolkien didn't write these with a dollar amount in his head. He was not trying to manifest wealth by creating the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And I think this stands as the greatest example of modern fiction. Before that, you had Don Quixote and the Iliad. But those 3 really and Les Miserables, which is also before this, and Sherlock Holmes, and all the Edgar Rice Burroughs stuff, I believe, was contemporary. Edgar Rice Burroughs is Sherlock Holmes. No, Arthur Conan Doyle is Sherlock Holmes. Edgar Rice Burroughs is Maid of Mars and all that, John, whatever his name is, Clayton, no, whoever. Edgar Rice Burroughs is Tarzan. And the other guy, the Warlord of Mars. Oh, look, this is my old business card after I got out of animation school. That's Ashley right there in her DJ gear. So Alex Hormozi talks about stacking skill sets. And I've been doing that in fiction. And that led me to my discovery that I made last night. Because I have a very clear vision of what I want to produce and what I want to give to the world and how I want to do it. And basically I want this from front to back. He doesn't have this anymore. Although he says in the end that this is creator owned, that it's not part of Wildstorm. It did get sold to DC. So I don't know how accurate that is. But I want this from, what do they call it? Soup to nuts. So that's books, comics, toys, cartoons, video games, not necessarily movies. I think cartoons qualifies as media, as that sort of it's not live action, but what do you call that? Cinematic media? I'd rather have a cartoon than a movie. I really would. Cowboy Bebop got destroyed. I think Sleeping Beauty is it Sleeping Beauty or Snow White that's about to be destroyed? Sleeping Beauty is one of the best Disney cartoons of all time. They use colored contour lines. The story is great. Spacing on the girl's name, but it doesn't matter. Aurelia. Yeah, Aurora, not Aurelia, Aurora. So that's it for me. I'm really happy. I'm really looking forward to this project, this idea. This could do a lot of good, not just for me, but for a lot of people. And that is what I wanted to say about Alex Hormozi. He says stack skill sets. And I've been doing pretty good at that. I pushed art as far as I could get with it. I knew I wasn't professional level, but then I went to work making websites and editing television and learned how to do audiobooks, not just to do them, but to record them and edit them. Learned what it takes to be an audio engineer. I spent a few years at that. So yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing very good. I'm very decent 3D modeler. I need to level up 3D texturing, code acquisition, and utilization. There's some code spots that I haven't solved yet, but they're very unique, specific things that usually have to be bought by someone who just does code. So I don't feel too bad about that. And yeah, so it's taken a whole life. And last night I identified this one thing that, if done well, could finance or subsidize everything else I want to do. I don't think Stephen King ever wanted to be Walt Disney, and I don't know why not. Why did he just stay stuck to the written word when there's so much more? He's lately gotten into like TV and stuff, but he never struck me as someone who wanted to be a director or own his own studio, or even saw that as a possibility. Lucasfilm, I don't like what they've done, but I like his ambition, Spielberg's ambition. Spielberg, I guess, didn't have the stories because he never, just didn't do it. The Warhammer guys, they're cooking with gas. All right, see you guys tomorrow.